Welcome to the Bushido Gang. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's AttackonSamurott, bringing you all my just a discussion talking about normal types in Sword and Shield, more in Sword and Shield OU. But that's when to do this discussion because I was thinking about normal types for a while in OU, and they're interesting. You know, at least the offensive ones are interesting. So I just want to get my thoughts really on normal types as a whole, like the typing and even the mons that come with it, and just really say how I feel about normals, because I think both offensively and defensively normal type has been pretty okay this generation. Mostly because, you know, ghost types have just been kind of running rampant, and there aren't a whole lot of defensive checks to them outside of, you know, dark types. So, because every other type just gets, you know, blasted by Shadow Ball. So, and off those ghosts, they hit very hard. So, it's kind of tough to really play around ghost types at the moment without having an immunity, which is why normal types, you know, I think should have had more play in general in this meta. But again, I'm gonna dive more into that as we get into the vid. But before we get started, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Join my Discord, the Bushido Gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. And yeah, so let me give you my thoughts on these normal types. I'm recording this on a Thursday, by the way, so you guys should be seeing this today, along with maybe another vid if I can get one up before I have work today. But yeah, so we got Blissey and Chansey. So these guys, well, Blissey is really the OU mon. There's the only the only normal type in OU. Blissey on the defensive side as a normal type covers for Dragapult, and also it's just a very fat spit F wall, so it takes every other special hit in the game with ease. Yeah, you can still invest into its defense, and it can still take some hits fairly well, but you don't want to take like too many, obviously. But still, this thing is very, very bulky, so it's just able to eat some hits and just really do whatever it wants. Go for rocks, go for T-Wave, Ice Beam, Toxic, Toss, you name it. Blissey will do it. So, Blissey, and also Teleport, that's another big one, but I'm going to get there soon. Blissey in OU runs heavy-duty boots. It runs boots because it wants to avoid getting chipped by hazards. And hazard chip really matters with walls actually matters with walls and sweepers in Sword and Shield, because even the littlest bit of chip damage can really mess up mons. Like, for example, I'll give you a really good example. Lando versus Zeraora. So if you actually chip Landorus enough, Zeraora can actually beat it in a 1v1 scenario. But that's after it's been you know, like, chipped already by it, or if it's already been knocked off. Like, if its items, like if its lefties have been knocked off already, then it's basically dead. It's basically a dead mon, because it's just gonna get chipped every turn by knockoff plus rocks. And rocks is doing 12%, and knockoff is doing like around 20 to 25. So that damage is very consistent, and it can definitely hurt you, or hurt the Lando user in the end game. So it's very annoying to or I mean it's very tough for the opponent to really, or for the Lando player to get around the Zeraora player. So yeah, I know they didn't really have much to do with what I'm talking about with Blissey, but I'm just giving you a reason why you want to keep boots, because you can avoid having to deal with chip damage, and also basically dealing with chip damage at that point. So, because yeah, like if Blissey gets knocked off and has hazards down, and hazards are down on the Blissey side, then yeah, it's not really looking too good for Blissey, and Blissey can't really wall things like it could with boots down or with boots on. So yeah. Another thing that Blissey has is Teleport. With Teleport, it allows it to get a slow pivot, and that's something that is very huge for a mon like Blissey, because that gives you a lot of momentum. Blissey is very common on balance and stall teams. I remember during the Olive Armor meta, when this mon first dropped, that a lot of teams were running it. Again, it was more like on some bulky offense teams at that time, and also balance as well. But yeah, all I did was just pivot. It just pivoted every time. Um, Pivoted around to bring in a more offensive mon to pressure the mon in front of it. So yeah, it was very it's been very consistent with that. So yeah. Now, in counter to its pre-evolution in Chansey, Chansey is a lot bulkier on both the physical and the special side with the Eviolite, but because it's running an Eviolite, if it gets knocked off, then it's basically a dead mon because there's also Hazard Chip and all that. So Chansey is just not a mon that really works in this OU environment where knockoff is one of the most spam moves in the meta. And not only that, but hazards are really important for breaking down walls, because again, you want to break down all these walls. Again, the physical walls like Buzz Wall, Ferrothorn, Garchomp, Heatran, Slowbro, Toxapex as well. Like, chipping those mons or getting hazards down for those mons is very, very key, because those mons are very common, and also they just give you a lot of leeway to handle opposing physical threats. So yeah, that's why hazards are important really for handling those mons. But yeah, going back to Chansey though, and Eviolite getting knocked off. If it's Eviolite, it's gonna get knocked off. Then it's not gonna be able to wall things like it used to. But yeah, another thing to add on is that Chansey pretty much does the same thing as Blissey too. Even teleport. So there's that. But yeah, these two kind of, if you're running them on the same team, then, well, basically at that point it's a stall team. But also, it would mean that you need to have like multiple ways of not letting these two get knocked off. Because if those two get knocked off, then your whole game plan is pretty much dead at that point. It's dead in the water. Now, there are plenty of mons in this meta that can function without boots, or really without an item. There's Clefable because of soft boiled and whatnot, and that usually fits on stall teams as well. There's also Toxapex. Just any mon with recovery can function well without an item. So yeah, except for really Blissey and Chansey, just because they really depend on these items. They really depend on it. Blissey, not as much though. It can still function even without boots. It's just gonna be a lot more difficult depending on the matchup, really. Well, yeah, it pretty much depends on the matchup. Chansey needs an Eviolite, so yeah, that's why knockoff is very important for breaking down walls like these to open up for their special attackers. So again, for in the case of Chansey, removing this means that Lately would hit even harder to a Blacephalon, so it just any special attacker would just hit a lot harder and whatnot. But yeah, these two are pretty much the best, or pretty much like the main checks to ghosts, especially Blissey. Blissey covers Dragapult. Well, I guess it depends on the Dragapult set, because there's the physical ones, but the special ones, it walls it completely. Gengar and Aegislash is a weird one, because there's Shadow Ball Toxic, and there's also or Subtoxic. There's also Mix as well. Specs runs close combat, so it's still gonna do a lot to it. But overall, outside of that, Blissey can kind of check it. Well, that's still iffy. I can't really say that. It can't really check it, but it checks the other ghost types. So yeah, and even the other ghost types have tools to get around Blissey anyway. Like Gengar has Trick, and so does Blacephalon. Blacephalon has Trick as well. So if it tricks that, then Blissey's basically a dead weight at that point. So yeah, defensively it handles them. It can take hits from them. But when it comes to utility options, like if it gets tricked, then this mon's basically dead in the water, and it's basically set up fodder at that point as well. So yeah, that goes for these. That goes for both of them. Like, both of them just become set up fodder after getting tricked. But yeah. So offensively, normal types hit everything in the meta. Nope. It really just hits every. I can't talk. It really just hits everything. And a lot of normals do have other coverage options as well. Like for Diggersby, for example, it's got Earthquake, Ice Punch. Like its coverage options are insane. A lot of normals just have a lot of coverage naturally, which is weird, but they just have a lot of coverage, so you can take advantage of all of that, or so I can take advantage of all that. So so they're very versatile. Now, the one thing that sucks about them, about them, well, besides them being versatile, which is actually a good thing, the thing that sucks is that there just aren't enough like strong hitting normal types. Is what I mean to say. Like they aren't as aggressive. Like for example, Arceus and Megalopony are very powerful normal types, and also their abilities kind of help that as well. With Megalopony being able to hit everything, and well, Arceus is different because Arceus can be any type, but the normal one just cleans up teams naturally. Like it can just do it. An SD set just goes crazy on basically everything in the meta, and also it has coverage options, many coverage options to handle. It's to handle to handle everything in the meta pretty much. So yeah. But going back to Diggersby and what Diggersby can do, I actually have been thinking about trying a couple things. Life Orb is good. Life Orb sets are really cool. Choice Band is definitely nice. You could potentially run Choice Scarf. I think Choice Scarf is a reasonable one. You don't, unfortunately, this thing doesn't outspeed like Zeraora or Dragapult. Like especially Dragapult, it actually just misses out by 1 point. It goes Diggersby Choice Scarf speed is 420, which is hilarious. But yeah, it does not speed those mons, unfortunately. But what matters is really the damage and just how much momentum this thing's getting. But yeah, you can run like knockoff with it as well if you're running a Choice Scarf set. Even Band can kind of do it too, but I think really with Band you would just want damage. Like you really just want damage. Again, like I said, Mega Horn is free, or its normal stabs are free. Really, again, Mega Kick is free on basically everything. So is Quick Attack too, and its other coverage options in Quake and EQ already cover a vast majority of the meta anyway, especially EQ. So this thing is a very hard hitting mon. And for utility, Diggersby also has spikes as well, so you can just apply even more pressure with spikes down too, with either a band set or even a Choice Scarf set. So yeah, or even a Life Orb set if you really want to like add more pressure to it there. But yeah, I think Diggersby's main issue is I really want to say it's speed. I really do want to say it's speed. I think if it was like just slightly faster, it would probably have a little bit more usage. I don't know if it'd be OE material, but it definitely would be much better than it is right now. But still, outside of that though, it's still a good mon. It's still a pretty good mon. It's just again, it's just that it kind of struggles with the physical walls, really. Like most teams in this metagame. Like for example, Zapdos can technically wall it. Technically, Mega Kick is gonna do a lot from Band, but if it gets paralyzed, then Diggersby's kind of dead at that point. Bro, you do have knockoff. Again, you can run that on Choice Band or even on Life Orb sets. It'll do a lot to it, but it's not gonna kill it. And also sometimes Slowbro runs Cobra, but yeah, really with Slowbro, you gotta have some other way to really like check it. Granted, knocking it off isn't bad though, but it's just that, just so you know, it'd probably be better to have a way to lure it in and then just pressure it at that point too. Yeah, then you got like Ferrothorn and Corviknight and whatnot. Those guys the best you can do against them is really just knock off or try to, or if you have zone, then just trap them. If you're pairing it with Diggersby, which actually Choice Scarf I guess like if this thing is running U-turn, which you can't run on this thing, if it's got U-turn and able to have like a trapper in the back, again like zone, then that's actually not a bad combo. That could probably work since that does cover for again Corvi and Ferrothorn. So that gives you again iron defense boosting against Corvi and whatnot, or against Ferrothorn and whatnot, and just able to really pressure through. But yeah, again, it's a cool mon. Just really kind of suffers from the defensive checks, and that's really it. That's really it. I think this mon should have gotten more usage overall. Like, it's not a bad mon at all. It's just those physical walls, man. They really kind of put that mon down. But yeah, I definitely recommend trying it out though. It's definitely pretty good. And again, that ghost immunity is really good too. Like I remember in the early days of Sword and Shield, like almost nobody was running a normal type. Actually, no one really ran a normal type period. But in the beginning, like everybody was pretty much stuck on Mandibus as a defensive check. It's a Dragapult. That or like some other niche stuff like Umbreon and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much how it was for real. No one really thought about immunities then. So this really thought about having a pivot that could take a hit. And people started to, look at T-Tar as well at that time, since that was also a dark type, but it pretty much got pivoted on Dragapult and would take a lot of damage from U-turn, so it was just not as good of a check to it, or people just realized it wasn't as good of a check. And also it got pressured by King Keldor and I think another fighter at that time. I don't remember what other fighter was around at that time, but yeah, I just remember King Keldor being one of the strongest fighting types in that meta, if not the strongest fighting type in that meta. But I might be wrong. I might be wrong about that. I'm not too sure. But again, King Keldor was great. Early Sword and Shield. Talking like pre-home, and even during the home meta, it was good. But yeah, so there goes Diggersby. Good mon. Just got to find a way to really pressure these guys. Those physical walls really just shut this thing down. Yeah. Then we got Obstagoon. So Obstagoon is like another normal. That I think this one I think might just be more of a priority issue more than it being a power issue, because this thing gets really hard with Guts Facade. Like there's only a few mons with Guts Facade and they be hitting hard. Like Ursaring is a really good example of that. Like Guts Facade off that thing, sheesh, that thing be hitting hard as fuck, bro. Like that thing hits hard as hell. Not a lot of switchings into that thing besides, obviously a ghost type, but yeah, Facade does a lot off that thing. But the thing with Ursaring is that Ursaring has Sword Stance, while Obstagoon it doesn't, so it can't be as aggressive as it should be. It has to rely on bulk up as a setup opportunity, or rely on obstruct and pretty much take advantage of the mon going for a contact move. So like U-turn, I don't know, close combat, whatever, like any contact move, knockoff, any of that. I don't know why you knock off an Obstagoon. That doesn't make a lot of sense. U-turn makes more sense though. But yeah, that thing's kind of free to just spam knockoff and Facade, since that just covers the whole meta in general. Close combat's also really good too, since that hits the steel types as well. So again, able to damage Ferrothorn, able to damage Magnezone, Kartana on a switch in Melmetal. Hitting all those steals is really good. That's just really clutch. But and also his defenses are fairly nice too. Like 101 in defense and 81 in HP in SPDF, and then 93 93 HP. It has a really interesting stat spread. It's really interesting, just fairly well balanced. Also its abilities are good too in Guts and Defiant. So like with having those abilities, you kind of have a lot more leeway in what you can do with it. Guts is definitely the best. It's definitely the best one you can do. But also you have Defiant too, which can work as like a way to cover for defog users, or even cover for the Lando lead. But again, these are all just like examples of what you could do. But yeah, so this thing is very underrated. I remember this one didn't even get that much usage during pre-home. It was around at that time. It was around in pre-home, but in pre-home you had Darmanitan, Galar, and you also had Dracovish. So those mons plus King Keldor kind of put this thing down. So it didn't really have a chance in the first place. It just it came in and it just didn't really do much. It just kind of went down after that. I think it went down like after the first couple months. In Sword and Shield, it just went down like straight. It just went straight down. But But yeah, again, the meta then was also more defensive because you had cores like Corviknight, Seismitoad, and Clefable, and that core was I mean, it was actually manageable. Obsidian probably could have handled that core, but yeah, it was just, you know, tough to really get through, but it was definitely possible for it. But yeah, I think Obstagoon really just needs Sword Stance in priority. If it has those things, then this mon could actually be a monster, legit. Like, this mon could actually be a legit monster. Its speed's good. Like, 95 is actually really good speed. Being able to speed side with Lele, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. Unfortunately, you do get, you know, outsped by Urshifu and whatnot in the other base 100s and above. But that 95 speed is definitely nothing to laugh at. This thing definitely hits hard as fuck, or definitely can hit hard as fuck. But again, going back to the whole normal types not being able to cover the physical attackers issue, or the physical walls issue, Buzzwole just checks it. Corviknight can... well, it depends on the Corviknight set. But again, a lot of them are more defensive these days. So, Knockoff will do a lot, but then you get pressured by either press or U-turn. Ferrothorn, you can only go so far with close combat. Oh, sorry about that. That was like a helicopter or some shit moving over. If you heard that noise, you can only get so far with close combat. Ferrothorn's like max defense these days, so the best it'll take is like up to 70. That's my guess. Actually, I guess I could calculate right now, but I think it does like up to 70. Should be doing up to 70 against that. But yeah, let's see. Versus Ferrothorn. Yeah, that's good damage. That's really good damage off that. But again, this is not the standard set. No one runs Spadef. They're all like max defense. They're all practically max defense these days. They really need to update these. They really got to update these things. Let me make this relax real quick. So yeah, it does 56 to 76%. That's off Adamant too. That's off Adamant Obstagoon, and it just barely just two shots it, or can two shot it. But again, you have to catch it on the switch in. But yeah, you can actually knock into it. You can knock it and then close combat afterwards. So it's still free. That's definitely still free. But yeah, Obstagoon has other utility options, like as you saw right there, it can actually run switcheroo. So you can actually trade, or you can actually swap your what's it called? Swap your orb for something else. Whether it be lefties or whether it be like some other item, it could definitely be in Obstagoon's favor. So it's cool. It's actually pretty cool. Again, the mon has a lot of cool techs, but it just needs more more way to really pressure through stuff. But again, this thing hits hard with guts. Like I said, there are very few mons. This is the second mon now to have facade, or to be able to work really well with facade and guts, and to be stab as well. So like, still, this thing is quite powerful, quite a powerful mon. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the normal types, you know, losing frustration and return. That really hurt a lot of the physical ones. Like, I forgot to mention about Diggersby. You know, with it having to run a mega kick or body slam, it just sucks, man. You got to land that 120 hit, and then it's gonna do a lot of damage. It'll potentially kill some stuff with a band or even like life orb or whatever. But still, you got to land it. On the bright side, mega kick isn't like high jump kick, where if you miss, you actually take recoil damage. But still though, it's just like you have to land it. Like return would have definitely brought Diggersby back up. It probably would be UU right now actually if it's live return. But I don't know. Maybe it might get banned, or it might have gotten banned too. But just want to look at UU real quick. Diggersby. Oh shit. Oh yeah, return just rocks everything. Return actually just rocks everything. Yeah, that's free. That's hella free. Oh my gosh. And EQ as well. Yeah, that's why this thing got banned. Actually, it's not even here anyway. It's not here yet, but I'm pretty sure this mon has usage in UU at the moment. But I don't know if it's like high usage, but I'm pretty sure this mon could definitely put some work in down there. But But yeah, again, going back to the subject at hand, no return and frustration makes this thing a little bit weaker than it used to be back in Gen 6 and Gen 7. So yeah, Obstagoon, it doesn't really have that issue. Again, it doesn't really need to run return and frustration. It already has facade, so that's not really the issue with it. The issue with it is just less setup. It needs more setup options. So it's just to make this thing better, and that's pretty much that. Sword Stand Sucker Punch would make this thing better. Hell, even E-Speed would have been good. I don't know why they cut E-Speed, or why they cut Linoon's like move pool, and pretty much didn't give, you know, Obstagoon anything out of that move pool besides like Switcheroo. Like, it sucks, man. It really does. It really does suck that this mon doesn't have, you know, E-Speed or Sucker Punch. Because again, this would be a much better mon if it had those priority options. But it is what it is. Because pretty much this would act like a actually it pretty much would just be another Bisharp. It actually would just be another Bisharp at that point. But yeah, it actually would just be another Bisharp. Yeah, another Bisharp with guts. Now that would have been something. That would have been sick. But yeah. Then we got Bewear. So Bewear, if you guys have noticed from how I've been promoting that mon, Bewear has a really good ability in Fluffy. Fluffy allows it to take contact moves very well. They can just, you know, tank the hit and then be able to punish back something else. So, for example, you can take on Kartana very, very well. Leaf Blade kind of bounces off it. Same with Sacred Sword. It does a lot though, but it can take the hit. Depending on the set, of course. Like if it's banded, it'll still take the hit, but it's gonna do a fuck ton. Scarf and Leaf, or Scarf, it's fine. It can take the hit and it'll still be able to punish back with CC. But yeah, Fluffy makes this thing able to just tank those physical hits or those contact moves just way better than the other normal types. So it's basically a tank that hits hella hard. So I've been testing Choice Band. I've been testing Life Orb SD. And this thing is nuts, man. Like it's actually nuts how strong this thing hits, man. Like like and also another thing about Bewear is that it's so free to spam Double Edge with this thing in this meta. It's so free. Like it's the freest move it has in this move pool just to spam that move. Like it's so damn free. It's not even funny. Yeah, Double Edge plus close combat is crazy. It's crazy stab off this thing. Like, it's actually insane how hard this mon can hit. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how hard this mon can hit. Cause like, after you Sword Stance up, there aren't too many switch-ins for you besides, you know, having to take all that recoil damage from Life Orb, Double Edge, and Rocky Helmet from said physical check. So like Garchomp, for example, all that recoil damage is definitely gonna bring down Bewear by a lot. Buzzwell's the same. Ferrothorn as well. Corviknight. Slowbro 2. Zapdos. Well, Zapdos doesn't really run helmet. Just has to deal with, you know, has boots and everything. But still, it doesn't really want to take Double Edge off this thing. Pex as well. So, and the special walls, I mean, they just get blasted anyway. Like this isn't even a thought in Bewear's head when the special wall comes in. But because I mean, the special will never come in. Lando takes like too much damage from Double Edge. Also, another thing is that Lando's slow as shit these days. Like they're around like 216 speed, somewhere around that range. So they're very, very slow. So Bewear doesn't even have to go. I mean, Bewear could either go like Adamant or it could go Jolly, and it'll still put in work. Adamant's good as well, or good enough too. Jolly isn't bad either. I like Jolly more because I mean, being able to outspeed the base 60s. being able to outspeed like a lot of the slower mons that are like uninvested, it's still really, really clutch. So again, like Lando, for example, you can just outspeed that and be able to punish that. And yeah, pretty much just any of the non-invested like faster mons or typical faster mons, Bewear can punish them with Double Edge. So it's pretty damn good. It got Darkest Lariat in this gen. So with having Darkest Lariat, it's able to hit the Ghost type. So that's another really cool bit that Bewear has, being able to hit the Dark types, or being able to hit the Ghost types. My apologies. Hitting the Ghost types like Blast, Dragapult, Gengar, Aegislash, hitting all of them is so good off this thing. Like, I know Mega Lopunny doesn't need Dark Stab because it has Scrappy, so it just clicks return or HJK on everything. But Bewear can take advantage of that and just pressure those ghost types, and then at that point, Double Edge is free. Sorry about that. Had a cut edit there. So I was talking about Bewear, right? Okay, so like I said, this thing is really good in handling again, teams that are more physically oriented. So again, handling mons like, again, Bewear, Corviknight, or not Corviknight. Well, actually, I can handle Corviknight. Just any mon with a contact move, it can handle it fairly well. Now, the thing about this ability is that, again, it can handle physical contact moves, but it can't handle physical attacks outside of that. So Earthquake is still going to do a lot of damage to it. This mon does not have the best defenses, so EQ will definitely damage it. But like EQ, Icicle Crash, all that stuff still hits it. Still hits really hard. But majority of the mons in this meta pretty much just have contact moves. So Bewear can take advantage of that and just set up on that. So yeah, I remember I was watching Blender. He was actually using a bulk up Bewear team, and he was able to take advantage of a Buzzwole with that. So that was really impressive to see. But yeah, I want to actually try something like that at some point too, and see if it can do something. But yeah, when it came to this mon in general, just like where it was seen on ladder, or where it was seen not on ladder. That's not really the word I want to say. Where it was like, how come this mon didn't get attention beforehand? Well, no one just paid attention, really. No one really paid attention. Bewear, like, the earliest gameplay I have, or the earliest replay I had of Bewear was like in the beginning of Sword and Shield. Like, I want to say either the last week of pre-home or the last month of pre-home, or around that range. Or around that time range. Around that time. But yeah, that was where I saw Bewear. It was actually saw it on a stall team at that time. It was weird. It was like a Rocky helmet one too, which was even weirder. But so it was an interesting stall team that was able to. It almost beat me. By the way, that team, I think it almost beat me. But it was definitely a lot more impressive than I thought it'd be. But yeah, Rocky Helmet's interesting. Again, that could probably fit on a more defensive teams if you really want to go that route. But yeah, again, I'm just giving ideas, really. Again, personally, my favorite sets are Life Orb and Close in the Choice Band. Those are my favorites because they're all just free, and you do so much damage. If you're going Band, go Adamant. Just gonna say it. If you're going Band, go Adamant. If you're going Life Orb, Jolly or Adamant's fine. And and yeah. But still, normal types really just. I really hope that with Gen 9, I hope that normal types get better, like to some, like in some level, like they just get better overall. I mean, I know they're not gonna add like more moves for the normal types. That's probably not gonna happen. But or even a stat buff. A stat buff would be blessed for most of the normal types, because a lot of the normal types just don't have good stats in general. Like, these three are really the rarest ones. Like, they're the rarest ones to have good stats as normal types. Oh yeah, and also Porygon Z too, which I'm gonna get into like right now actually. So I remember seeing this thing on that one Pink Across Rain team that was very popular at one point on the ladder. This thing is this thing's kind of cool, you know. Being able to hit everything. Again, the ghost immunity as well. Those are some positive traits on this thing. It does have Trick, so with Trick you can redirect something, lock them on into something else, which can open up for the which can open up for the Rain team as well. Being able to remove said wall or whatnot, and just apply pressure at that point. You could even go Nazi Plat on this thing too. But I think that one is like, you probably got to work a little bit harder with that, but you can definitely take advantage of that. But yeah. Being able to hit Dragapult with Ice Beam, Thunderbolt for the waters, and Tri Attack in general just hits everything off adaptability. You can even go download too if you really want to, or even analytic. Like, Porygon has really good abilities, like very strong abilities. So You can really go in any direction with this thing. It messes the fuck out the physical walls. Like they all get bodied. The special walls though, like Slow King, Blissey, all them. You got to work a little bit harder. But with Trick, you can pretty much just lock them in, and they can take advantage of it. Granted, you don't really want Slow King to get poisoned or to get it, because it'll do a lot more. It'll do a lot of damage to you with Sludge Bomb or whatnot. But at least you do give your other mons a chance to set up, or even just apply even more pressure. Again, it depends on the team and what you're running Porygon Z with. Again, on that rain team, well, you pretty much would go Ferrothorn at that point. Just keep applying pressure with spikes and whatnot, and then you can just kind of spam Tri Attack too. So yeah, I mean, you would get an AV, or Porygon would get an AV, which is actually better for it anyway. But or would help in that scenario anyway. But yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. Not really much else to say about Porygon. It's strong. It's a lot stronger than people think it is. It does get walled by, like, again, the special walls. Even like T-Tar can check it very well. But it's not, the T-Tar's not really a common mon in general, so it's not something you're really gonna like worry about. And also there's rain. If you're running it with Porygon Z, there's rain. So T-Tar is like a non-factor. Besides it, trying to get sand back up and remove the rain. But outside that, like, you really don't have to worry about that mon. Heatran definitely can be annoying. Heatran can be annoying for this. But again, if you're running it with rain, then well, you can probably get through it. But if you're running it like outside of rain, then you have to have ways to handle Heatran too, so that way Porygon can still do its work. But yeah, again, not much to really say about PZ. It's a cool mon. I don't know why it's not getting more usage, but I think it might just be because it's frail, and also really you only have one set with it, and it's like this set, again, choice specs. That's probably the best that it can do. But I think you can still get away with Nasty Plot though. But I don't know which move you have to drop. You probably have to drop Thunderbolt, because you want to be able to hit Dragon Pulse with the Ice Beam, and Tri Attack still covers everything else outside of Ghost. That's why Ice Beam is there for said Pult and whatnot. But Cephalon, I mean, Thunderbolt probably, not Thunderbolt, Ice Beam probably doesn't kill it at +2, but also it can kill you back with Flamethrower too. But yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much Porygon Z. Then we got Tauros. Tauros is a victim of not being in the base game. That mon would have been so good in base game. Oh my gosh, that thing was fast too. Like, it would have been the fourth or third fastest mon in Sword and Shield if it was back, or if it came in the base game, because being able to outspeed a pretty good chunk of the meta, and also being a ghost immunity, would have been fire at that time. Yeah, it would have been sick at that time. But yeah, the best thing this mon can do when it comes to fighting the physical checks, I mean, it has Sheer Force, so you can run like some mixed sets. So you got, like, Fire Blast hit Ferrothorn and still be able to cover for Corviknight too, and also cover for Buzzwole, Ice Beam for Chomp and Lando and all that. And then you got like Double Edge or like Close Combat or whatever. But also like this mon has a lot of other coverage options too. Another thing about Tauros though is, with it having Body Slam back, it can take advantage of Sheer Force, and Body Slam is still fairly free in the meta too. Like, Body Slam still covers a good chunk of this meta, but of course the physical walls just kind of put it down. So you have to have a way to punish the physical walls a bit. So again, pairing it with a special attacker like Lele or Coco or whatever is definitely like a way to or can definitely open up Tauros a bit, make it a bit more useful and whatnot. But yeah, outside that though, it's a mon you really gotta work it. Like, you really gotta like work that mon to get it to do stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you really gotta put some pressure with this thing. So that's really all I gotta say about Tauros. It's not a bad mon, but it just came at a bad time. That's all. When again, if this mon was in the base game, I think people would have appreciated Tauros a lot more at that time. But right now, it's kind of a hit or miss, really. But it's more of a miss though, because it still just can't break these physical walls that well. But still, it can hit everything else fairly hard anyway. So it's a mon that's worth, you know, testing out if you're curious to see what it can do or what it could have done. But yeah, pretty much my thoughts on Tauros. We got Xploud. Xploud is Xploud hits hard. You know, it just hits hard. Simple as that. It just hits really hard. The physical walls get bodied, of course, and a lot of them are slow anyway. Like bust wall, I guess it depends on the set, but bust wall is like fairly slow. They go like what? They go like, I think, how fast is this thing at timid? I don't think it's faster than this thing being timid. And plus, you probably want modest anyway. 258. I think some of them go like somewhere around like 220 or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, with the defensive sets, I mean. Actually, I guess I could just calc it or just see for myself. But I think they're. Oh wait, I actually didn't mean to do that. Yeah, let me just check real quick, because a lot of them are just like bulky as shit. Yeah, 220. So 222. You can outspeed that if you're running timid. I'm pretty sure modest is good enough too. Probably outspeed it with modest. Yeah, you can outspeed it with modest too. But again, it kind of just depends on really just the core in general. Or I guess really still the Buzzwell too, because some of them could be fast as well. But it seems like the defensive sets are like have no investment. So so Xbox can take advantage of those sets, but more offensive sets, obviously you got to switch out and bring in some other check to Buzzwell on your team. Yeah, the other physical walls kind of get messed up by it. Corviknight gets messed up. Ferrothorn gets messed up, so does Garchomp. Heatran doesn't really appreciate it too much, but you definitely still take it though. Lando, I think Lando lives it with ease, actually. Pretty sure Lando eats that and without having to really fear anything. Actually, it's a roll. It's a roll. It's crazy. Yeah, Spadef would easily take that on then. Like that's just a snack at that point. Yeah, it doesn't even kill it. You have to get a roll against it too, and this is with like no investment yet. So yeah, Spadef just checks it all in all. Unless you're an Ice Beam for it, then you actually can pressure that thing. But yeah, it hits hard. That's it. Let me check Galar King real quick. I want to see, or Glow King. I want to see how much it does to Slow King. So Slow King Galar, Slowbro. Wait, hold on. I think I missed Slowbro. Where's Slow King at? Slow King. Okay, so the AV set, Boom Burst is 35 to 42%. That is that's pretty sad. But again, it's AV, so what can you really expect? But yeah, with AV, that mon is eating. That mon is still eating. 35 to 42% is like, it's good, but it will be way more aggressive with spikes down, like spikes and rocks down. So if you can get those down, then you have a good way of handling King. But again, those aren't guarantees though. So yeah. But again, it hits hard. It can hit hard. You just gotta like have the support for it. And again, Ghost Immunity, gotta take that. So gotta take that. So it's not bad, but it's another mon that you gotta just like put a lot of attention or a lot of work into it. Well, actually, a lot of work around it. Like you gotta actually like bring this mon in a position to where you can actually like afford it, I guess. So like, you know, maybe Sight plus X block could work, or maybe just having a trick mon like able to remove AV could help out X-Bot a lot. There's a couple things you can do with it. It's not bad. It can work, but you gotta actually like commit to it too. Also, this thing is not very tanky, so it's not gonna take hits at all. So that's another thing you gotta really worry about with this thing. This mon is not a tank. Like, it looks like it, but it's not a tank at all. So that mon has a lot more stuff to worry about. Also, Scrappy hits ghost types anyway, so you're still gonna body you body all the ghost types. I think you do a pretty good chunk to X to Aegislash. I think Aegislash might just die to that. Just go to both. So let's see. We have Overheat though, but Boom Burst is still going to do a lot to it anyway. But Overheat can cook that up too. Oh yeah, there's also Focus Blast too. But Overheat's like, more guaranteed. So you have that as well to cover for the steals. So you have Overheat for the steals, but even still, Boom Burst is going to do a lot to the steals anyway. I wonder how much you do to Corviknight with Curiosity. Corvi. Boom Burst does 38 to 44%. Damn. Overheat's better anyway. So Overheat will cook that up. Again, depending on the set, of course. But yeah, if it's defensive, then Overheat will cook it up. Spadef sets probably will take it on fairly well. But I don't think I've seen Spadef Corviknight since like it's been a long time since I've seen it being used Spadef. But yeah, it's not a bad one. Just a lot to work with. Heliolisk is that one works on weather pretty cool or pretty nicely. Again, works on sun and on rain. With it being on rain, it has the immunity with dry skin, so you can get through Urshifu and other waters. So it's actually a pretty good way to play around the water. So it's not too bad. And again, it has that Ghost immunity as well, so you can play around Dragapult fairly well too. So it's cool. It's cool. If it can actually form a decent core with like Ferrothorn 2 or Ferrothorn 2 with the Rain core. I mean, so it's not bad. I remember when I was fighting this. I was fighting like some variant of it. I don't remember. But I think it might have been Scarf or Specs on that team. But it definitely was putting in a lot of work with like Specs or even Life Orb. So it can be good on that on Rain or even on Sun. Since with Sun it's solar powered, so you're going to be able to do even more damage. And also you have fire coverage out off that too. So Weather Ball is just free on like everything. So it's strong. It's pretty strong. And also you got Thunderbolt, which can cover for said checks like Heat Train and whatnot. So Thunderbolt would do a good chunk to that. And yeah, really the only thing I think Heliolisk has issues with is probably, well, it's not really a speed issue because it already has good speed. Like 109 speed's good. Again, speed time with Kartana is okay. It's not too big of a deal. It's not too big of a deal, but it's I really think it comes from just not being able to again breaking through the special walls is really what stops this thing. Because outside that, it hits everything really hard. But yeah, Tar and Slowking can mess it up a little bit. And again, depending on the Ferrothorn set, it could also do the same thing as well. And also Lando too. Lando is also another one. On Rain though, it's gonna get bodied. But on Sun, I'm not too sure. Maybe it still gets bodied on Sun too. But yeah, Heliolisk is very frail. It's not a mon that you want to let take a hit. It's gonna die in one hit. So that's something you gotta pay close attention to. But yeah. Not much else to really say about it. Oh yeah, you don't want to let this thing get like worn down too quickly too. So again, you can go Life Orb, you can go Specs, you can go Boots. Boots is more of like a lower tier thing. That's been used a couple times down there. But being able to pivot for free, or be able to pivot around and not to take Hazard Chip. So it was pretty good for that. But I don't know if it'd be good in OU running Boots. I think you want power with this thing. So those are my thoughts on it. It's good. It's a mon worth testing out. Yeah, it's definitely a mon worth testing out. So I recommend it. But yeah. Let me get Linoon. Okay, now we're getting into like kind of bad territory. Linoon is interesting, right? Because it does have the potential to sweep teams, but there's also having to deal with the ghost types and deal with the physical checks. the physical checks. So you really got to like pair it with mons that can break them down. So again, pairing with like a fighter and a ghost, or not fighter and a ghost, but a fighter and a dark type could probably help out Linoon's issues. So like I don't know, Beware, or not Beware. My bad. I meant like, I don't know, if you're running it on like hyper offense, which is the only way you can really run Linoon, you probably have to pair it with Blaziken and Galar Moltres. or maybe even Blaziken and Weavile, but Blaziken and Galar Moltres just seems better since you already cover. No, actually, it does actually Weavile isn't that bad either. You probably could get away with that. Like just run some Veil stuff, and then just smash through everything with Blaziken and Weavile, and then have Linoon clean up in the late game if it comes down to it at that point. But Weavile and Blaziken together are just smash teams regardless. So yeah, Linoon really just has the I can't hit anything because they're too damn fat, but also the physical walls just wall you. So yeah, it just kind of sucks. But outside that, I think it's like it's very niche. It's very niche. It's a very niche mon. Not anything that you want to say like. I mean, not anything like amazing, but if it can work, just gotta put in a lot of work for it, or a lot of work with it, for it to for it to work. But also, this mon is pretty inconsistent too. It's not a mon that you're really gonna like win games with. I'd say. I'd probably say in OU you have better odds winning with Blaziken or Weavile than you have winning with Linoon. Just because again, its checks really mess it up. So it's just a lot to really work with this thing. But it is cool that this mon got coverage options, so now it has Stomping Tantrum, so it's able to hit the Steel type. So that's so good. Like being able to hit Heatran, Magnezone, Melmetal, that's really good still. Don't get me wrong, that's still like fantastic. And also, even if you get +6, you're still able to outspeed, Rillaboom too. Before it could try to kill you with Grassy, you still have that as well. But again, this mon can get worn down very quickly by Helmet Chip, by Slowbro, and by Ferrothorn with Helmet plus Rough plus Iron Barbs, or even the same thing with Garchomp. So the physical walls gotta get removed first before Linoon can really do anything. So those are my thoughts on that. It's cool, but it's very niche. It's cool but very niche. I may end up trying it if I'm really feeling it. Again, this mon only works on Hyper Offense, so just pair it with Alolan Ninetales and just Sweepers, and you'll probably be fine with it. But again, this is not a mon you want to use early game. This is a mon you want to use late game. If you can even afford to do it though. But yeah, that's what I think about Linoon. Then we got Snorlax. Now Snorlax was a fun mon. I actually like using that mon a lot during the home meta game, because this mon was really good in checking Kyurem. It was very good. It was a very fun mon at that point, or at that time. I think I might have used it during the pre-home meta too. But yeah, its coverage with its new coverage move in Darkest Lariat was very needed, because now it has a new way to hit ghost types. So pretty much this was the set that everyone used to run. Curse, Body Slam, and Darkest Lariat. So pretty much Body Slam, you have the chance to paralyze things, which can make you make Lax be able to support the rest of his teammates. But also it can be a late game. It could be not late game, but it could be good for just cleaning up teams in general, especially after the physical checks have been removed or been weakened by a lot. So there's that. Also, you do have rest. You keep this thing healthy too, and just continue setting up and just cursing and just spamming spamming Body Slam and Darkest Lariat. So yeah, you can pretty much not outstall, but you can definitely out pressure. I think you can even. No, I'm not gonna say you can out pressure the Iron Defense mons. Maybe Ferrothorn. Not even Ferrothorn. Never mind. You can't out pressure them. You definitely can't. But yeah. Sorry. But yeah, this mon is again, it's cool, but you gotta really prep for it. You gotta really build around it well. Again, having a way to I really think having a way to handle Ferrothorn is probably more important than handling Corviknight, because Corviknights aren't really running Iron Defense Body Press these days. Not like it used to, again, during the Isle of Armor meta. I think even at some point in Crown Tundra, it was fairly common at that time, but now it's just kind of pivoting and just defogging and body pressing stuff, or brave birding stuff. But you don't really see any other coverage outside of that, or any other sets outside of that. So yeah. So just like the other normals, Body Slam is free on basically everything. Pair chances are really cool too if you can get them. And that's pretty much all that for Snorlax. Again, it's cool. Good special wall or good ice fire resist with thick fat, and can just take advantage of said mons. And yeah, pretty much can take advantage of those said fire types. See, it was actually, I think it might have been a decent Volcarona check too at some point. I think it was. I don't remember if I used it against Volcarona. But it was okay. It was okay. But yeah. Then we got Kang. So Kang is just a terrible mon. This mon is this mon is just all memes, bro. It's all memes. It's funny though. It's funny because you could run like a Life Orb set with it and be able to pressure, not really pressure it, but you can hit Lando, I guess. It's got you know, Scrappy, so it's able to hit the ghost types as well. So being able to hit being able to fake out and last resort stuff is really fun. That can definitely be pretty unique. I honestly think you just use this as an opener and just start wrecking stuff as early as possible, and then, you know, try and remove the physical walls too. If you can do that, then Kang will probably put more work in for you with fake out plus last resort. But yeah, this mon really just, I wish this thing was stronger. Like, nowadays a lot of mons are base 120 or higher in their attack. I think a lot of normal types need to be at least base 100 or higher with their attack stat when it comes to the physical attackers, because like there are just not enough strong physical normal types. Again, Beware and Beware Beware, Obstagoon, and Diggersby are like the only ones in this current meta that are like that. The others just kind of suck. The others just kind of suck. So yeah, like Mega Kang used to be like base 125. I don't know why they can't just make Kang like base 100 or something, or base 110. I'll be kind of sick on that thing. Make it hit even harder. But yeah, Kang also has a move pool issue. It doesn't have really good fighting coverage, so it can't really hit stuff like Ferrothorn hard or really like Melmetal that hard. The best move it has is Hammer Arm, and you have to land that too. So this mon is just, you know, it's just there really. It's just there. It's really just there, but it's fun. It's fun mon. But again, you got to really prep with that thing too. So a lot of the normals just really need to be paired with some way to remove a steal, or some way to like force out a steal. No, actually, no, they need to remove the steal. So like Ferrothorn, or so like, you know, not Ferrothorn, Magnezone plus that could work out, or even Heatran could work out too. Or even just both, honestly, even both is good. But yeah, man, this mon sucks. It's fun though, it's fun, but oh boy, this mon is not too great. But yeah, I'm just gonna like rank all the normal types that I think are, you know, the best, or at least the ones I recommend trying out while the meta's still going on. But yeah, man, it just sucks. No one really took the chance to try out the normals in the, like, for me, I definitely should have tried them out at that time in the beginning. But again, just like a lot of people, I didn't really think about that. I was concerned more with having a resist than an immunity at that time. But man, normal types, man, they really could have been something. They really could have been something. I do hope, like I said already, that the normal types do get some kind of buff in Gen 9. I know we're going to be getting the Hisuian forms for, or the Hisuian evolutions for Ursaring and for Stantler, and also Hisuian Zoroark. We're going to be getting all those new normal types, so that might shake up the meta. But also, we don't really know what the meta looks like still. Don't know if there's going to be Dragapult back, if Dragapult's coming back, or Blacephalon, or all that. If they do come back, then well, hopefully the normal types will be good enough to handle them. I think they will, especially Ursaring's evolution, Ursaluna. I think that mon will probably go nuts. And same with the Zoroark. Like, they both seem good. They both seem really good. I don't know about Weirdeer though. I don't know about Weirdeer. Weirdeer might be like a lower tier kind of normal type. Probably might end up going to NU. I think that's where I see that mon. NU, maybe even RU. But yeah, again, that's just my thoughts, or that's just what I feel might happen. I don't know what the. I mean, I know what the stats look like. Like I can just show you. I already have it right here. But yeah, I mean, it has good. They both have good stats. Like it has good stats. But I don't know why they made it slower. Why did they make it 65? This thing would have been good at like 80 at best. But 65 is just like I don't get it. But Ursa Luna's stats are ridiculous, man. 140, 130 defense, and 105. This mon is going to eat everything. This mon is just going to eat everything. It's actually crazy. This thing is bulky as shit, man. And I can't wait to play. And I can't wait to play it. I cannot wait to play with it. But yeah. So again, my thoughts on normals. Defensively, they're good. Offensively, they're just as good. But they just require a lot of work. And I don't think people really have time to really commit to that. So yeah. All right. So let me rank my favorite normal types to use, or my favorite normal types. Or normal types I would suggest trying out. Beaver is definitely like number one. That's number one. That's number one right there. That mon is actually so fun to use. That mon is so fun. I love using this thing. After that, I'd probably say either Diggersby or Obstagoon. Probably Diggersby and then Obstagoon. I'm talking offensively, by the way. I'm not talking in general. Obviously, in general, you use these two, or one of these two. Blissey's the one you actually need to use. Chansey is just there if you want to make it stall. If you want to make it stall, then add Chansey along with Blissey. But if you just want to use Blissey, then by all means just use Blissey. But yeah, Beware, Diggersby, Obstagoon, Porygon. I think I'm actually gonna reorder. I think I'd probably say, because I'm actually surprised at how much Exploud does. It actually does a lot of damage. Again, Tauros isn't bad either, but Exploud, maybe Exploud might be more consistent, but still, definitely these four are like my top four, and then probably it would be either Tauros or Exploud being 5, and then Halos being 6, then 7. And then 8, then 9. But yeah, I would put Lax higher, but it's only where the meta is right now. And if Karen was back, I think I put it a little bit higher. I probably put it over Linoon. I probably put over Linoon at that point. But yeah, no Karen, so Lax is just kind of chilling, really. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about normal types. I don't know how long I've been recording. I'm probably recording for like an hour. 31 minutes actually. Okay, that's not that bad. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about normal types and just, your overall thoughts on them. Do you guys think normal types need a buff? In what way do you think they need a buff? Or do you think it's in what way do you think normal types need a buff? Or do you think it really is just the mons? It's really just that we need stronger normal types in general, just like better stats and whatnot. Is that really what it is? Because I think that's really what it is. But also having Return and Frustration back in some form would be good as well. Because that would make the other normal types a little bit stronger. Really, I think that's more of a Diggersby thing more than the others. I guess Kang would benefit from it too, but I definitely think that's more for Diggersby. Oh, and Stoutland too. Stoutland's another one. Stoutland definitely need a return. That would have helped them on a lot. It probably would have had some kind of niche in OU maybe. But Sand isn't that popular. Yeah, actually, maybe not. It would have been strong, but yeah, that's pretty much that. So those are my thoughts on normals. Let me know what you guys think, and yeah, so that's gonna be that. So hope y'all enjoy my I can't talk. Discord. Enjoy my discussion vid, and yeah, so that's gonna be that. Be safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you for some more Pokemon Sword and Shield discussion vids and whatnot. I'm gonna try and do a couple more before this gen ends. We got like how many months? We got like 5 months until Scarlet and Violet drop. So enjoy the meta while you can. So yeah, that's gonna be that. Be safe, wash your hands, and peace out.